Hello and welcome to this video about accessible websites. With accessible websites, I don't mean that buttons work and links aren't broken and things like that, but I mean how sites are accessible to people with different kinds of eyesight disabilities and so on. And when people hear accessible HTML, they mostly think alt text to the images and let's put a capture that explains what's in the picture, so people with poor eyesight can get their voice software to tell them. The thing is that there's way more to do in terms of really making the HTML work towards an accessible website. A central concept regarding this is what's called the semantic web. And the semantic web is all about making more sense for everyone involved. Instead of telling a browser strict old-fashioned code, the HTML could use newer semantic elements, and this is gaining more ground in the upcoming HTML5. We'll get to that a little bit further on. Let's look at a few examples of semantic elements. The reason I chose these two elements, B and I, which of course are bold and italic, is because they were the first elements to be replaced by semantic elements in my daily internet use, strong and M. And this was within WordPress. When I made a text bold, it would instead wrap the words in a semantic element that I at first thought were proprietary code for WordPress, but of course it's not. It's semantic elements. This is really valuable when it comes to accessibility. People with poor eyesight tend to utilize different forms of text readers, which converts the text on websites to spoken words through the speakers. Let's write down a real example. And of course I choose this huge font so it could be visible on the screen. Let's say, for example, I want to write I am very cool. This would of course work in a browser. While the browser understands bold and will make the letters in the word very a bit thicker, various text readers won't actually understand this and will read the text as is. So the text reader would say I am very cool instead of I am very cool. But if we change B to strong, I'll save that and check it out. The browser will of course understand this as well, but now also the text reader would understand it, that the word very should be read with perhaps a lower voice or something, like I am very cool. Let's take another example. I am awesome. That would of course work the same. You would see, you would read it like I am awesome, with emphasis on awesome. But the text readers won't actually know that, so they will just read it I am awesome. And that's why we put M for emphasis, of course. Let's look at a different situation where it's not semantics but good practice that makes all the difference. I will just make this a little bit smaller because I'm gonna write a few more words here. So if I were to write a longer text with a title and several subtitles, one might think I would do it something like this. Title. And then example text, example text. Fine, cool. This would work fine in our browser, but again, when the text readers get to this, they won't be able to tell the titles apart from the body text. It will sound like title, example, text, subtitle, example, text. They will just read it as one continuous sentence. So, if we instead used the proper elements for the titles and paragraphs and wrote it like something like this instead. Then it looks the same, but The text reader would have no problems telling when and where to pause to let the listener know what was a title and what was a new paragraph, and so on. And as I said before, HTML5 uses a lot of semantics this time around and introduces elements like article, details, nav for navigation, summary, and so on. And as you can hear, it's pretty evident what sort of text material goes where, both for the text readers and for people learning how to type HTML. And that concludes my short video on HTML accessibility. I hope it has been of some use for you.